guys, it's Jen here at Checker Joy, and this time I am reviewing Unbounded, Belondweg Blossoming by Rachel Hartman, and this is a series of microcomics from the 90s, and they are set in the same world as her novel Seraphina, but they aren't really related. They follow different characters, so it is really charming addition to the world of what's going on in Seraphina if you've read that book, but you do not need they're they follow different characters and have enough differences that you do not need both. But I think it was so cool having read Seraphina and loving it to get to this addition to it. I'm really, really grateful to my friend Linnea for loaning me this book. And I have taken very good care of it and reluctantly will give it back to you. I am really bad at describing what's happening in this book. I have tried to summarize it, so I'm just going to read the back. And I'm also really bad at pronouncing the names of characters and places in this world, so I apologize in advance for butchering that, including possibly the title. I'm not even sure that's how you pronounce that. Okay, here's the summary from the back of the book. I sing ye gods of Belondweg, our sure, our strong, our saucy queen, who fought the haughty Morande, beside her fought Powhane. So begins the epic Belondweg, which Amy of Eddybrook starts reading the summer she turns 10. Belondweg was a mythical queen who united Gorad and saved her people from invaders. Amy only wishes her life were half as exciting. But how is life supposed to live up to literature when your mother is a semi-domesticated barbarian? All the knights you know are banished, and the only dragon you have ever met is a geeky grad student. Join Amy as she dances the two-foot, wears a really ugly bridesmaid's dress, turns hay, becomes friends, in spite of everything, with Bran Dukanan, imitates the patron saint of ducks, flees from rampaging sheep, learns that love doesn't always conquer all, chugs buttermilk, and begins to understand that even Belondweg didn't have to save the world all by herself. So these stories, this is a series of mega comics from the 90s. These are actually issues 7 through 12, but they form one story arc that follows the summer that Amy turns 10. And it's really this coming of age story. And she's kind of a tomgirl, which I love. In this, her mom is this barbarian, so like her mom doesn't quite follow the normal etiquette of the day, and so that's not really pressured on Amy, but she sees other people having those expectations put on them. And it really follows Amy and Bran and their families. So Amy is an only child and she lives with her parents. And then Bran's parents have both died, so his older brother Cullen is in charge of the family, and then he has a set of siblings who are twins. Niesta, who lives at home, is his sister, and Niall, who is the priest in the neighborhood, but doesn't live at home anymore. And then his brother Trig, who is just a few years, well, I guess like his brother Trig is 17, so I guess he's 7 years older than Bran, but Bran's the youngest kid. And Trig is also a apprentice at Amy's father's farm, where they farm sheep and make wool textiles, so like fabric and things. And it was just really cool to see how this society works and just the adventures that Amy and Bran get into. Well, not even all the adventures with Bran, just what Amy gets into. And the story starts off with her and Bran meeting a dragon. And in this world, dragons can take human form and pass off as human. So really only Amy knows that Lalo is a dragon. Everybody else thinks he's just a human, just this university guy coming to study what's going on in this village and how society works in this village, and particularly to learn about folklore and this tale of Belondweg that Amy is actually reading for the first time herself in this like crazy coincidence. And it's really cool to see this relationship between Amy and Lalo the dragon, and how they are kind of both learning about society and filling each other in with like the gaps in their knowledge. So Lalo is a dragon, but he's more mature and knows about things that Amy doesn't quite grasp yet, like love and how society functions. But Amy obviously knows a lot more about her town and the people in the town and how their relationships work. And I really like this. And Niesta, Bran's older sister, kind of ends up falling in love with Lalo. And humans and dragons can't get married and have relationships, so it's awkward. And Niesta doesn't know that Lalo is a dragon. She doesn't know that she shouldn't be falling in love with this guy. And it really deals with a lot with expectations, and especially how women are supposed to act in society and how they're supposed to get married and have children and what happens if you don't do that. But I really like this world and crazy adventures. Like, Amy's birthday is on one of the feast days. So, like, every year there's this big feast in town and a party, and that's kind of like Amy gets this big giant birthday celebration with the whole town. And which is really cool. And there's like this medieval festival includes like dancing and food and stuff, except that Amy hurt her foot the day before while herding sheep, so now she can't dance. And how bummed she is about this, and how she's watching her friends talk about boys and who they're going to dance with while Amy can't, and she's got her first crush, and how she's kind of obsessing about this boy, and how it's all completely new to her. And I really love this book. It is really charming and adorable. I really, really love Amy. She's such an awesome character. Yes, I love it. I totally recommend this. If you guys know Seraphina, this takes place in the same world with the dragons and everything. They're in the same country. Amy definitely takes place before Seraphina, but we do get to see some of the same characters. So Amy's relative, Amy's relatives, Sir Cuthbert the Exiled Knight and his squire, appear in Seraphina, as well as Dame Okra appears in both. So getting to see those characters is really cool, especially since I already know them from Seraphina. And it takes place in the same country with like the same folklore, the same religion that's based off these saints and stuff. So it was really cool to see this. For me, having already read Seraphina, it was cool to see more of this world. But this story is completely separate from Seraphina, so you do not need to read both. And you don't need to have read the previous comics going into this because it's a self-contained story arc. So I really like this, and it's really charming and adorable. And yeah, it's pretty. I think it's a good children's story. There's nothing in here that strikes me as you couldn't give this to a child, especially if they're like 8 or 9 and about to reach, that 10-year-old mark when they start becoming a preteen. So, I love this comic so much, and I definitely recommend it. It's kind of sad that this is an out of print. So this is an out of print comic, so it's not terribly easy to find. Like I went on Google to find it, and there were a few copies online for not terribly much. If you wanted to read it yourself, or if you can find it in the library or something, I totally recommend reading it. So yeah, if you can find it, you should read it. And it is definitely a great companion to Seraphina if you love that world. And I recommend Seraphina a lot. I really love that. I'll post the link to my review for Seraphina down below, which is definitely easy to find. I love this world so much, guys, and I love Amy. She's such an awesome character. There is my rambling review of that. Peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.